You are watching the Deadfoot Diver Podcast with Curt the Deadfoot Diver.
Welcome to the Deadfoot Diver Podcast. My name's Curt the Deadfoot Diver, and I am so happy to have here today on the podcast a legend in the diving world, Peter Mesley, who owns Lust for Rust. How's it going, Peter?
Oh, mate, what a pleasure it is to be here. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited. Super excited to see what's going on.
Well, thank you. I mean, I really appreciate having you here. I mean, I have watched your stuff for years, especially all your stuff on Truk Lagoon and stuff. So to actually have you here chatting with you is absolutely incredible. Thank you for spending the time with me.
Oh, mate, no, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Like minds, it's always good to team up with like minds,
So tell me, how did you first start get into diving and tech diving?
Into tech diving? Oh, mate. So as a kid, I was living in England, and I was staying in a place that we were sharing a house in London, and with a few of my ex-schoolmates, and one of my mates, his name was Kelly, and he's walking out the door, and I says, where are you off to? And he goes, I've booked in for a dive course. And I says, you didn't tell me. And he goes, well, I'm telling you now. And I said, can I come along? And he goes, yeah, sure. And so I head off over to the dive pool, and I did a Discover Scuba, or the rest of it, and the rest was history. So this is back in 1989, and you probably wouldn't have been born then,
I was
would
born
you?
in 69. I'm not that young, unfortunately. But
it's a good year. That is a good year, very good year. And so then living in England, all that there was sort of like deep erection, all the rest of it, and so even while I was doing my after I finished my advanced upper water course, after about 9 or 10 dives, we were doing 40-45 meter dives, and the thing is, it wasn't because of the fact of just getting into technical diving then, but it was just that's what we were doing. But we had single 15-liter steels. You're Canadian, right? So okay. So we don't
like
have
the
the
72
imperial
cubic foot ones, probably. Yeah, probably.
Oh man, yeah. So that'll be 100. That'll be about 105, 110 cubes. So I'm glad that you guys are in the metric system, so we don't have to worry about doing all these conversions.
Except the funny thing is that when I talk scuba tanks and stuff, I always think in feet, right? And stuff.
Yeah. So these 15 liters, well, I think they're about 115 cube, and we would have a 15 liter, 115 cube on our back with a 3 liter, what we call a pony bottle back in the day, and it was just like a little 3 liter, little 19 cube tank, and we would have that like as an auxiliary, as a backup, and that's what we started to do, but it wasn't until so I met my wife, who she's still painfully with me at the moment. We've been together like 33 years and married for 26, and she's if she had killed me, she would have been out. Even if she said, look, I murdered him, she would have been out like 12 years ago, 15 years ago, and she would be Mesley free, but no, she's a great girl, and so I met her while I was in England, and in 1991 I went over to Cyprus, and then I did my instructor course then, and then I started getting into tech diving, like officially. I did my tech training in 91, and then in 1994 I moved over to New Zealand, and so that's where I've been ever since. So I've been very, very lucky in New Zealand. The fact that when I first got here, no one even knew what a DIN regulator was. It was like I built I built my first nitrox panel because I went to the local engineer and I said, "Hey man, this is what I need to do. I need to blend some gases and I need some gauges and all the rest of it, and I need some one-way valves because I don't know whether you've ever heard of it. It's called the Oxy Hacker's Handbook.
Oh,
Have you ever heard of the Oxy
Yeah,
Hacker's
it came
Handbook?
out like a long time ago, right? I have.
Oh mate, yeah. Look, there's all salt here. There's very little pepper here. But so I read that from cover to cover, and I thought, look, I've got to make myself my own blending panel, and I did that, and we blended the first nitrox blend, albeit I don't know, it might have been a nitrox 25. I don't know what the hell it was. It wasn't pretty, but but back in 1994.
Wow.
And then obviously, I was a Wolfpacker 1, and things were like everyone in New Zealand were out there hunting for food and crayfish and scallops and all the rest of it, and I had other ideas, and I wanted to go, get into a little bit more advanced diving and all the rest of it, and so I had to go to Australia to do some training over there, and I did some training with a guy called Barry Hallett. Oh, not Barry Hallett. Delete that. His name was Barry Hurd, not Barry Hallett. So yeah, I did some training with Barry Hurd, and I did my technical training in 1995, and at that same time, I was doing my advanced trimix open circuit course, and I thought, oh, these rebreather things, these look pretty good, And so Barry was running these Dolphin semi-closed circuit rebreather courses. So I thought, I'll do that too. So I did my Dolphin semi-closed circuit rebreather program in between when I was doing my trimix course open circuit, and as soon as I got home, I started messing around and and I thought this semi-closed circuit stuff is just rubbish, It's just terrible. And there's this group in Australia called the ARG, the Australian Amateur Rebreather Group, and it's basically is a bunch of home builders, and they just built their own rebreathers. And so I joined this club, and I said, hey man, I need some help doing this, and I need some help doing that, and I basically built my own a fully closed circuit, but it was 100% manual. And if I didn't push a button to put O2 in the system, no O2 went in. And my wife hates it, but I dubbed it the Wanaka. And yeah, and she hates it to this day. I said, "Oh no, you should never have called it that," But yeah.
Okay, so now we know where
done.
rebreathers got their bad rap from your nickname of your first rebreather you built.
Do you know what? I don't know how the hell I'm still alive, to be honest. I really don't. I don't know how I'm still alive. But anyway, I am. Only just. And so I did maybe 400 or 500 hours on the Widowmaker. And that was basically a Dolphin semi-closed circuit rebreather, basically morphed into a closed circuit breather, and I bought one of the first. Do you ever remember the VR tech, the VR2, the VR1?
I think so.
Oh mate, that was the first technical computer that was ever made. It was manufactured by a good mate of mine. It's a guy called Kevin Gurr, and he's a legend. This guy in himself, he's one of the, he's been diving for multiple decades, and he's a legend in his own standing, and yeah, I had this, and we call it the brick because it was literally that big. It was huge, and I put it on the inside of my, on my arm, and it would just take up the whole arm, and there would be like a 4 or 5 second delay between the one single oxygen cell that would read, and it would be like 4 or 5 second delay. It was insane, I'm sure when Menduno comes on, he'll have a few more stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be trying rebreather in a couple of months. I never thought I would actually. That's when I started diving again before I ended up hooking up with Hubert. My wife had a couple of restrictions. The one was no overhead because of my blind eye and my leg, and also because of no overhead and no rec penetration. And she didn't want me night diving either again, which I was like, oh, come on. I used to night dive all the time, right? But
it shouldn't make any difference. If you got one Gonski, it's just
I
nighttime
know.
anyway, isn't it? So you all you just need is one light on the good side, and you're fine.
I'm going night diving in April when I'm in the Bahamas. So, but I'm actually going to do. I'm really excited because in February, March, Matt Manzuk is from Dan's Dive Shop's actually going to do a pool session with me to try rebreather out. So I'm really excited about doing that. And we're going to film it for the podcast here. So
nice, man. The only problem is once you give it a go, it's like tasting Ferrero Rocher for the first time. You gotta go, well, you can't just get you can't get a little taste and then just walk away.
I have heard that, and I've been warned that by a couple of these guys I've been diving with, and especially it's funny because there's some wrecks up here I want to do that. I was talking to Greg Hilliard, and I said, okay, if I want to do this, what certs do I need and what gases do I need, right? So he said,
you're taking advice from Bender. I don't know whether that's a good thing, man.
I've known him for a long time, actually.
I don't know whether that's a good thing.
I actually didn't even know he was a diver until this past year. I knew him from back in his NASCAR days because I was actually a NASCAR official. But so we were talking and he's like, okay, he's like, are you sitting down for the price of what your gas is going to run you on this dive? And I said, actually, I'm lying on the couch right now. So yeah, it hit me, right? And he calculated it out and it's like, it would cost me about like $400 or $500 just for gas for the dive.
So, yeah. Yeah, they really have their advantages. Though. It's just like breathers are just a tool, right? But the thing is, like now, is that it gets you to do some cool stuff, and so then you're not being bolted down with a lot of other gear and all the rest of it, So no, nice, man. I'm really looking forward to hearing how you get on.
Absolutely. Thanks. I'm actually gonna certify. I have my side mount cert scheduled for May too, so I'm really looking forward to doing that, especially with my legs. Because I have up here, as you know, because you've dove the Great Lakes, so you've been to Tobermory, I assume, probably, right?
Oh, yeah. Not yet, mate. Not yet.
You have to swap and dive it with me then.
I tell you what, you have got such a resource there. It's, oh my God, you're so lucky to have that resource and so many wrecks. Like I've just been focusing down Huron, like on the other end, on the southwestern side by Presque Isle and Alpena and all the rest of it. And it's just, oh my God, like you guys, if you, what you've got at Tobermory, and I've heard great things about Tobermory. Oh my goodness!
And it's literally I can leave my house and be at the tugs unloading my gear in an hour and a half right from my house. So
that's pretty cool, man. That is
it's pretty awesome to be living up here and then diving again and being this close to Tobermory, because when I did dive back in the 90s, I'd be like 4 or 5 hours away drive, right? So to me, this is like heaven because it's like, oh yeah, no problem. So
no, for sure.
So tell me about how you started getting into doing the lust for rust stuff and doing all these exotic tours that you do.
Well, it's all is all due to necessity, to be honest, mate. Like, so I've been obviously I'm a little bit long in the tooth now. So I've been training manager of a dive store in New Zealand since 1990. 1994 when I got here, and until about 2004. So like for the first 10 years, I was working 100 hours a week, and I'd work as a training manager for 45 hours a week, and then in the evenings I'd be teaching, and then on weekends I'd be doing open water dives for the courses that I was teaching in the evenings, and I thought, oh my goodness, like I'm working 100 hours a week, and I'm loving it, but it's a lot of time and a lot of hours and all the rest of it, so the company had a restructure that I was working for, and I ended up just saying, look, I'm just going to go out alone, but up until that time, I was running trips for that last 10 years, and I thought, well, through the dive store and all the rest of it, excuse me, and then I went on a trip. It was actually to Fiji, and I went on my first one of the first overseas trips that I went on, and I went on as a paying customer and all the rest of it. And I sat on these trips, and it was absolutely terrible because I'm not taking anything away from the operators and all the rest of it, but like now I'm thinking. So there was like 8 or 10 of us in the water, followed by the nose by one guide, and then we're like 15 minutes into the dive, and one guy goes and he shows, look, I'm really low on air, and then the dive guide says, right, okay, everyone, we're going back up, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm part of the group, so we surface. I'm going like, hey, what's up, man? And he goes, oh, that's the end of the dive. And I'm going, oh. Okay, fair enough. What's up? What happened there? They goes, oh, we had someone who was low on air, so we didn't want to, in the advent of safety, we didn't want that person to get into danger. So I thought, oh, well, fair enough. And then I went after the dive, and thinking, man, this it was fair enough, but this is exactly what I don't want to be doing, and so I thought, well, there's got to be other people that think like myself. So I started putting trips together for experienced divers, and like I said, I'm not taking anything away from inexperienced divers, because people are only inexperienced for a short period of time, and then after they are inexperienced, they become more experienced, and you just need some help. These people just need some help, and that's obviously what the dive guide was doing, and all the rest of it. So like now, but fast forward that, and then suddenly you say, well, we've got this this increasingly larger group of experienced divers who just they know how to handle themselves, and they want to go out and do their own thing, and then I thought, well, let me tap into that, and so when I left a company called Dive HQ in New Zealand in 2004. I set up my Lust for Us diving excursions company, and notice I don't say expeditions, because everyone just uses that word. You go walking down the road to the lake, and you go for a dive in the lake. It's an expedition, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's just a funny thing that we talk about. But yeah, and I started my first trip to Truk Lagoon. In fact, it's another backstory, because like when I was a kid in England, and I was doing my diver training, my instructor says, "Oh, look, I'm heading off to Truk Lagoon," and I'm going, "Whoa, I'll never be able to go there. That place is just amazing. It's just so expensive to get there. Oh, you know." And I was in awe of my instructor who went to this infamous Truk Lagoon, and so it wasn't until quite a few years later, and I'm going, listen, if I don't organise to go to Truk, on my once-in-a-lifetime trip, I'm never going to go. So I saved up my hard-earned cash, and I and I booked on. The first time I went, I think it was 2001 that I went to Truk. 2001. I went to Truk for my once-in-a-lifetime. I applied for leave at work, and I'd saved up, and I said, "Look, I'm going." And as it happened, the operators that I went out with, the manager there was an Irish boy, and he goes, and Amon says, he says, I see that you're an inspo instructor, and look, our rebreather instructor is cancelling us. Would you mind doing our training for us? So I says, listen, no worries at all. I says, but the only condition is that it's not going to cut into my time diving, my once-in-a-lifetime trip to Truk Lagoon. So I said, I can either come before, or I'll do my trip and I'll do your training after. So as it happened, I went before, and Amon and his wife at that time was Julie. And we did the program, and I'm sitting there doing this course on one of these wrecks, and I'm going, oh my goodness, I haven't even started my official trip yet, right? And I'm going, how can anyone come once in their lifetime to this destination? And by the time I'd finished diving on my once in a lifetime trip, I was already planning to bring groups in the future, and that was 2001. Wow. So, excuse me. So by the time I got myself organized, I'd set the marketing up in place, and I'd shipped all the rebreather cylinders and all the rest of it over. It was 2003 was the first trip that I officially took over to Truk. And this last trip was trip number 49 for
49 me. Times the Truk.
Yeah. And so this July trip of mine is going to be my 50th birthday.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And of course, like, the irony around it is that I'm still, like, even 49 trips in, there's still so much for me to do, and I've got this list of wrecks that I want to go and do things and all the rest of it. I want to take photos on and all that sort of stuff, and I still get goosebumps thinking about going to Truk, and it's like the day that I get bored of diving there, I'll just stop taking groups there, because it's just so much fun. And
I've watched your videos.
I can't wait for you to come, man. I can't wait.
I want to. I would definitely like in the next year or so to be able to do a Truk Lagoon trip with you, because that has been on my bucket list forever. I'm a huge war buff. So, and I mean, I watched your videos over the years, and I've been like, drooling, right?
The one thing you'll be guaranteed of is we're going to have so much fun, and the diving is just, and what I say to everybody, and if anybody is listening in to this podcast, is I always say to them is that as long as you say you're coming back, it might not be next year, it might not be the year after, it might not be the year after, but as long as you say that you're coming back to Truk, then you'll enjoy what you see. Because if you try to see everything on one trip, it's humanly or inhumanly impossible to see everything on one trip. And I will vouch, it's humanly impossible to see everything on 49 trips. And so then, we have what I call repeat offenders that have been, 7 or 8 times with me, and it's just, just so much fun. And There's so much to do there, and it's not all deep. 60% of the wrecks are shallower than 140
Wow.
foot, or 35, 40 meters, or shallower, and so there's 14 wrecks which are deeper than 40 meters, 45 meters, 45 to 65 meters, and those are, but they're amazing. But again, that's the point about going to Truk, is that you can go there multiple times, and then you just learn a little bit more about the wrecks every time. There's 8 liners, there's 8 passenger ocean liners there,
which is
8.
incredible.
It's insane, But so I can't wait for you to come, mate. I really can't wait, Curtis, for you to come dive with me. And
definitely want to come and dive Truk with you. That would be an epic adventure to get in the water with you, especially at Truk Lagoon and all your experience at Truk.
Yeah. Nah, man, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And by the way, we're also on your favorite podcast platforms now. We are on Amazon. We are on Spotify. We are on iHeartRadio. We are on Player FM and Podchaser. All of the descriptions are going to be down below, so make sure you check us out. Thanks. Have a great day. And remember, grab an adventure and live.
Tell me about, like, you do other stuff, like you do diving at Bikini Atoll, right?
Absolutely, mate. I did about 28 trips up until 2016, and the boat that I was going on had a massive government contract, and so we stopped going, and up until, in fact, this year, because so the government contract ended, and the guys contacted me and said, look, let's make the magic happen, and again, and I thought, well, that's brilliant, because one of the things about Bikini is it's probably one of the most remote locations, wreck diving locations on the planet, and there's just nobody and nothing there, and all the wrecks are, what is 55 meters? It's 200 foot. 180, 200 foot. So all the wrecks are in 50 meters, 55 meters. And so there's been operators diving there for years, from 2016 up until now, without a chamber on board. And in my opinion, that's I've never been back since, because we know that problems are going to happen, and if we aren't equipped appropriately for those problems to occur, then then the fact that it could be your once in a lifetime trip to Bikini Atoll, you get there day 3, and now everyone turns around and goes back home again because somebody else is not feeling well, and so it's just having the right equipment, the right people, the right medical personnel with you to get you to enjoy your diving. Of course, there's always risks and all the rest of it, but that's what we're mitigating. We're trying to mitigate as many risks as possible, and to think about with those risks, and act on those risks. So if there's a problem, then we've got medical personnel, and we've got a chamber. Now, a chamber isn't the be all and end all, but again, if someone's got a niggle and they need treatment, the boat doesn't have to turn around and go back to Kwajalein, and it's another 50 hours back to Honolulu, steaming all the rest of it to treat that person, and then for everybody else, that trip is over. So Bikini is I'm really, really excited about relaunching Bikini, so this year we got we got an IMAX a film crew going, and I've got a sole charter already sorted out after that, and then so that's and we got 2 other charters which are completely full. So 2026 is when we got reopenings for spaces for people to come, and now that is a new truckers. I think truckers, like, if you haven't been to Truk or Bikini, you need to come to Truk first, because kind of Truk Lagoon, you can get 2 Truk Lagoons into one Bikini. You know what I mean? Trip cost wise, and so yeah, you'll limp. You're like with the price with bikini, but,
Like
but again,
roughly, what's a trip to Bikini cost? Because I know it's like way out in the middle of nowhere, and obviously,
one of those and one of those.
how safe is it
But
actually to dive there with the radioactive stuff still and everything at Bikini?
have you had kids?
Yeah.
Do you,
No,
do you want
sorry.
any more?
Okay, I got you.
Oh, then you're fine. You're fine. if anybody wants to come to Bikini and they haven't had kids but they still want them, just wear lead undies and you'll be fine. You'll be all good.
I'm sure you've just killed your clientele list a bit by putting that out as soon as somebody's wife hears that.
I'll tell you what. If you watch your dinner going in a circle in the microwave, even through Faraday's cage, there's more radioactive stuff that you're going to get than being around a Bikini, mate. It's incredible. Now, scientists go there twice a year, and they conduct surveys. And yeah, mate, the like what we don't do is we don't eat any of the so on Bikini Atoll itself on the island. They like all the coconuts there and all the rest of it. No one eats any of that sort of stuff because there's still quite a bit of cesium in there, in the coconuts, and no one eats the fish. You see, but apart from that, we're still good.
So you guys actually walk around the island and stuff when you're there?
Oh yeah. No. It's all good. But we've got these things that go.
Oh, you got the Geiger counters.
Yeah. And it's mate, it's nature is everyone says, oh, how delicate Mother Nature is. Mother Nature is stronger and tougher than anything else, because after so many atomic blasts in Bikini, they've adapted and the place looks great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
not as good as Galapagos.
Yeah,
but,
so you do a lot of trips to Galapagos as well, right? So tell me about that. I've heard it's some pretty awesome diving down there.
Mate, if you're into white knuckle diving, and you want to see some big stuff 24/7, yeah, the place is just super impressive, man. Super impressive. It's almost as good as Lake Huron.
I don't know.
Hey, I saw some fish in Huron. What are they? The whitefish, are they?
You see some, but I mean, even all the dives I did this summer, I'd see a few fish and stuff like that, but nothing major. I mean, the thing I like about up here is the wrecks. You're not going diving up here to see lots of cool fish and stuff like that, but as you've seen,
you are so lucky, and the fact is that I'm so glad that and I only ran a few trips there, and I'm hoping to regain restart running trips, and it's like, again, the only problem is it's I'm talking from a commercial point of view, right? It's impossible for me to make money there. Impossible, because the boats are they call them the 6-packs. The boats and it's just impossible to make any money doing that. But you know what, mate? There's more to life than money, and the fact is that the wrecks, I still cannot fathom, like, descending on 165-year-old wreck, a schooner. It's just there. It's all there, and everyone goes, the zebra mussels this, the zebra mussels that, but they're small, and they, they don't, like, if they completely engulf the wreck like this, and then you go, is that a wreck or a bore? Yeah. But they don't. They're small, and I think excuse me, like when were the mussels introduced? It was 1986, wasn't it?
Because they were in like a couple of years before I started diving. Because I remember, they were just starting to like get bad then. Nothing like the point they are now. But the visibility now is incredible with the zebra mussels. I'll give it that. I mean, and you see them all over the place, but on the other hand, it's clear the visibility up unbelievably.
So like now, if the and I guess the greenies would probably want to kill me about saying this, but the fact is that okay, so the zebra mussels species, they were introduced, but they've just cleaned up the water, and like now, with like the viz, okay, so you would have dived like before the zebra mussels were introduced in '96. So the viz, I'm assuming from literature, the viz was normally maybe 5 or 10 foot, or even less than that, at the best of times. So you would never see these ships, and I don't know, I'm so impressed with the place, and what's even more impressive is that I've got some friends down in Thunder Bay, down in Alpena, and what a beautiful group of people there. Like, because like normally, these people are going, wreck divers, you're only going to steal the stuff off the wrecks. We don't want you. Go away. All the rest of it. But they're saying, hey, man, please don't take anything off the wrecks. They're there because the person before you didn't take them off the wreck. So please respect them and enjoy our resource. And they're only there if you respect them. And what a great, oh my God, these guys are incredible. And the NOAA museum down there, a friend of mine, Steph Gandala, and she's just an amazing girl, and she's a caller for the roller derby.
Really?
Also, the local roller derby is the most fun you'll ever have, and they're just such good people there, man, and just like such a resource, and I can't believe that there aren't 200 dive stores on the shores. Well, I can actually, because you've only got like a 3-month window, right?
Because there's like for around April you could go if you want a break, April or May, but then till about like October for like most divers up here. I mean, the funny thing was though, like at Tobermory this year, I mean, I remember diving back in the 90s and I would freeze my butt off up there every time, even at the tugs. And I can prove on my dive computer, the tugs, before you got to the thermocline, it was 73 degrees this year. It was insane.
Centigrade. You'd be
73 degrees Fahrenheit. Because I always do temperature. See, that's the thing. I do temperature.
What
So
is 73?
Like 21 or 22, right? Yeah, 22 or something like that. It was like ridiculously warm. In fact, I mean,
cool.
the tugs is where the dive shop in Tobermory does a lot of their like checkouts and stuff like that. So I'd be hanging around with the instructors a lot when I was there, and they like everybody. There was not a single time I went diving there this year that people were not commenting on like, this is insane how warm the water is for here.
Oh man, but then again, what I've learned, and I've learned this the hard way, is there's these awesome thermoclines. So like now, so I normally go around August, right? And so like now the water temperature on the surface is like, it's bath water, right? And then we get down to around about 15 meters, and then it goes from like 19 degrees C to like 10. And I'm going, all right, fair enough. There's a slap on the face, and then we get down to like about 16 or 18 meters, and then it goes from 10 to 4. 4 degrees C. Now that's a temperature for drinking Budweiser, right? Not that I'm an aficionado of drinking Budweiser, but that's what the advertising slogans state. You need to drink Budweiser at 4 degrees C. And that is ice cream cold headache
Yep.
temperatures. But again, the I've just had the most fun because on the dive, it's a bit cool on the bottom, but coming up. So we come up and we start doing our decompression, and then going from 4 to 10 degrees is like going into a bath. And then going from 10 to like 16 degrees is like going into a sauna jacuzzi all in one. And it's the best deco I've ever done. And yeah, I'll you know, in the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. It's oh man, I just love your area, and I can't wait to come to Tobermory, man. I'm probably not saying it correctly.
Tobermory.
Yeah, oh man, I can't
Come
wait
up.
to go there because I've only done a little bit of diving in Canada. I went over to Rossport to do the Canolda, and yeah.
Well, if you want to come up, if you want to even come up this summer, if you're not off somewhere or whatever else, I mean, if you're not picky on accommodations, I got a trailer out there you can stay in the whole yard. So we're an hour and a half away. We'll go do some crazy diving. And I'm sure that the dive operator up here would be thrilled to have you up here diving anyway.
Oh man, I'll be embarrassing myself floundering around the place, you know.
Hey, dude, you're not gonna flounder around any worse than I am. Trust me.
Oh, no. We know exactly where you're going to be because you just swim in circles, don't you?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your like where you got the Deadfoot from, the Deadfoot Diver podcast. Like, there's got to be a story there, man. There's got to be. Have you already told it?
I haven't actually. I can credit my son with the Deadfoot whole thing because once I got injured, I started racing. I was still racing motocross again. I actually got back on. I hand adapted a bike so that I could shift with a hand shifter on it. And we were sitting there watching Supercross one night, and it was when Twitter had first like come out and everything. And everybody's doing the Twitter thing during Supercross, all our buddies and stuff. And my kid's like, okay, Dad, you got to come up with the Twitter handle and get on Twitter, right? And I'm like, oh, all right. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to put. And he's like, Deadfoot. So that's how the Deadfoot 701. It was my Twitter handle used to be Deadfoot 701 because that was my race number. And then so then when I thought of coming up with doing the podcast, I'm like, well, I'm already known as like Deadfoot MX. So yeah, let's use Deadfoot, right? So, and my one of my dive buddies actually did my logo for me. So
oh mate, no, it's an awesome logo.
Yeah, it's really cool. I actually got some really cool merch coming up. We're just trying to get all the suppliers sorted out for it.
Hey, but I'll be up for mine. Just order me a Pacific Island medium, which is extra large, and yeah, man, just send me the bill. I'll sort you out, man.
So, but yeah, I've been really lucky. I've had a bunch of friends that have been helping me do different type of stuff for the podcast and stuff. But this guy, actually, the guy who did this for me, he's actually was taking his dive master this year, and he ended up becoming my main dive buddy for a lot. And he was an absolute godsend for help because I don't know how many times we went and were doing dives and I had to adjust gear, and we ended up scrubbing dives. We were just testing gear just to get all my stuff sorted out because I started diving down in a pool in Cozumel, and then I come up here and of course I'm like, okay, I'm a wuss. I'm diving in a dry suit, right? So then I go into a full kit diving with dry suit and everything. So it was a little bit of adjusting to get used to again.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's about adjustability and just moving things around, isn't it? Just to to figure out how and what and what's going to work.
Oh yeah, even like because I'm blind in one eye. It's funny, but the biggest thing I found about that when I started diving again actually was I would like start grabbing like I was like losing my balance, right? Because when you're hovering in midair, then all of a sudden I'll get these bouts of where I'm like losing my sense of direction or whatever just for a brief second, right? And I feel like I'm falling, even though I'm not. So one of my buddies
falling down or falling up?
Either way, I just feel like it's like I'm losing my balance for a quick second, right? But
Okay,
I've gotten used to that.
And that's you've adjusted with that in the water, and
I don't have any problem once I'm in the water. I am not graceful at all getting in sometimes. I mean, especially on shore dives and stuff like that. But I don't really care. I'm actually on my YouTube channel.
No one gives a shit, mate. No one cares.
I believe me, I'm gonna post some of my water entries on the channel eventually because people will get a laugh out of seeing how I go in, right? Because it's like, well, I don't care because at least once I'm in the water, I'm free. I can do whatever I want, and man, let's go.
Yeah. Oh, mate, entries could be the most fun or the most challenging, and I think for me personally, one of my best entries was via a digger.
A digger. Okay, you got to explain this one to me because this is one thing I've never heard of anybody saying they've jumped off a digger.
Yeah. I'd like to claim that this was the first time it's ever been done, but it wasn't because a mate of mine, the diving industry will know him, his name is Simon Mitchell,
okay.
And he's well regarded in the diving community around the world. He's the world's leading hyperbaric physician and all the rest of it. But apart from that, he's a really good guy. He's an exceptional diver. And he's a lot of fun to be around, you know, so his mate down in Wanaka is okay. So Wanaka is down in the South Island of New Zealand. So we got North Island, South Island, and Wanaka is a beautiful part of the world. It's like it's just further south from Queenstown. And then there's the Lake Wanaka, which is there. It's a very, very deep lake. And Simon's friend called him up and says, "Look, I need your help because an accident occurred. A very good friend of his son had a helicopter accident, and the helicopter crashed in Lake Wanaka. And the police ROV found the Robinson helicopter, and they pulled they managed to get the ROV the grab to attach a line onto the Robinson, and they pulled the helicopter up to the surface, and thankfully it had the person who had been deceased in the cockpit. So thankfully they got him back to his loved ones and all the rest of it. But what happened was the engine fell out of the Robinson and was sitting in about 75 meters of water in Lake Wanaka. And so Simon's mate said, "Look, can you help me? We need to recover this engine because there's a lot of speculation." Mate, there's a big story about it, but it's not for this podcast. But there's a lot of speculation that the deceased made a mistake, was making mistakes when he crashed a helicopter. And then the family says, "Well, this guy's got thousands of hours flying helicopters. We don't think he made mistakes, and we want to prove it." So basically they said, "Look, we're going to find the engine and we're going to recover the engine." So this is a big long story. Anyway, so Simon calls me up and says, "Hey, man, can you do me a favor?" So I said, "Yeah, shit, whatever you want, man." And he goes, "Look, I got a mate of mine who needs some help, yada, 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 yada." Anyway, we end up going down to Wanaka to start looking for this engine, this Robinson engine, sitting in about 75 meters of water in Lake Wanaka. And I don't know if you know how things work in the South Island in New Zealand, but these guys use helicopters like four-wheel drives. Really? They're not Ponzi. They're just farmers, right? They're sheep farmers. So these guys can open gates, close gates with helicopters. The level of skill is incredible, absolutely incredible. And what they've got is that they've got these 30-meter barges. What's that? 100-foot? 100-foot barges where they put all the sheep on, and they move them up and down Lake Wanaka, and they move them from paddock to paddock, et cetera, et cetera. So what they did was they moved this 30-meter barge to the proposed area of where the Robinson went down. So what they did was they beached the barge. Now, by the time we got to the last quarter of the barge, we're sitting in 65 meters of water. That's like how deep Lake Wanaka is, and this, it was like I've got some pictures somewhere. I'll have to dig them out for you, man. It was a sight to behold, because obviously we didn't want to take any money for it, because the friends helping friends, all the rest of it, and then the guys, Simon's friend said, "Look, well, if you're not going to take any money for it, we would love you and your family to come down to Wanaka and be our guests for the weekend and all the rest of it." So we went down and had a wonderful time. But everyone owns helicopters. So like at this time, my kids were like 7 years old and 5 years old, and so we sitting onto this barge, and there are 4 helicopters parked on this barge. It's just like incredible. Where would you see
4
that?
helicopters.
And then there was 4, right? And there was this digger on the end of the barge. So we turned up. Like we had all of our dive gear. Myself had all of our dive gear, and we turned up on boat, right? So we turned up the boat, tied up the boat, and we pulled all the gear up onto the barge, and then my kids, my wife, everybody just turned up on these helicopters, right? And then of course one of the guys says, "Do you want a coffee?" And I go, "Yeah, I'll have a flat white, or you call them lattes." And so then he goes, "Okay, 2 flat whites, a mocha latte, a cappuccino, whatever. Thanks, guys. Hold on, my barman's coming." Thank you. That's why we have kids. And thank you, Chloe. And basically we got geared up, and the guy ordered the coffees, and he gets off in his helicopter, and he went and gets him. But there's like not one time was anyone ostentatious or look at how rich I am. These guys are multi-millionaires, but they're farmers, right? So anyway, so we get geared up, and of course now we look at jumping into the water from the barge, and the barge is like 2.5 meters or 2 meters off the water. No, and he put the what do you call those things? The cup, the bucket. Yeah, they put the bucket down like this, and Mitchell and me sat in the bucket, and the thing went, and we entered the water via the digger. It was
did you video this whole thing?
So
did you video this whole thing? Oh, rats!
No, that was back in the day where no one gave a shit. No one was videoing it. We got a couple of pictures, and in fact, I'll have to dig them up. I've got a few pictures of us in the digger in the bucket, But anyway, we went to the site, and we swam around, and we found skid and lots of wires, but nothing else. And we so then the next day, oh my God. Next day we went deeper. We went to like 85 meters and we swam Jack Stay's search patterns. And but obviously the engine had just rolled down the hill after that, and we never managed to find it. But that's the digger story.
That's a
Yeah, man. Anyway, but like yeah, we can't offer you entry via a digger, but when you come to New Zealand, but we have a lot more boats now with lifts, which are commonplace in the UK, and they're starting to increase in the US also. Like I know a friend of mine, Tracy Click, he's got a lift in his boat, and he operates out of the Great Lakes, and yeah, mate. So have you got any lifts on your end of the world?
I'm not sure because actually I didn't until I went to Jamaica in November, I just did shore diving all this year. I basically was just trying to get all my gear sorted out, get comfortable, and then I was getting in some deeper dives and stuff like that. And then this year, I'm doing a lot of charters and doing a lot of diving.
Nice,
So.
Nice.
Luckily, my day job, I work nights, so I can. By the time I finish work, I can actually be up at Tobermory for the afternoon charter. Easy. So, yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
So it's really.
What do you?
I do IT.
At?
I actually fix servers and stuff remotely. So. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I do stuff all over the world. However, compared to doing this and diving stuff, no comparison.
We just need to pay the bills, bro.
Yeah.
You don't know what I've had to do to pay the bills, I'll tell you.
It pays my addiction.
$20 is still $20, I'll tell you.
It pays for my addiction for all this diving stuff, or at least helps offset the cost a bit.
Yeah, no, totally, mate.
So that's amazing. So what about you do where else do you guys run tours? Because you do tours everywhere.
Yeah, we got quite a few places. Like I've been running trips to Socorro. It's like I just there's two parts to what I like to do, and obviously I built up the lust for rust, which is obviously wreck diving mecca, and all the rest of it, and but I also like big animals, right? Just obviously I just like being in the water, to be honest, mate. And so I built a splinter side section, a business called Shock and Awe, which is you can't take lust for us people to aquatic areas, So I just set up a Shock and Awe. Big animal diving. Man, I just love it. And I also, so you had Jill with one of your earlier podcasts, right? What an amazing human being. And so I I've never been into caves, man. Rex has been my thing, and I wanted to go and dive with friends of mine in Ocean Quest in Newfoundland to go and dive those mines, and because they've got a mini Truk Lagoon there, and I thought, I want to go and dive the mines. Those mines sound amazing. And then he goes, you're going to be full cave trained. I'm going, okay, all right, fair enough. So I thought I better go and get full cave trained. So I called up a mate and I said, hey, Jill, you got any time? She goes, no. She says, nope, but I'll make time. So I managed to carve a little slice, and I went over to Florida and I did my cave training with Jill. It's like, I didn't think that I would enjoy it that much, because I was going, I'll go for the training, and but it was just so much more, man. It's like Jill, and she included all the spiritual side of things with the caves, and I didn't really understand the whole speleology I don't
Yep.
even know if I said that right. You know,
Love.
speology of how water moves through the ground and creates these cave systems and oh man, I had the best time ever. And so she said to me, she was like, how far do you want to go? You know, so I said, look, just you know, just take me as far as you can, and if I get into trouble, the safe word is mummy, right? So if I shout mummy, then stop, right? Well, oh my god, we had so much fun, you know, and I learned firsthand what Ginny fingers is, and Ginny, they call it Ginny fingers because like now, um, when
Oh
you're
yeah,
in Ginny
yeah, yeah.
Springs, and the flow is just so strong, and you're like, and you just lose all of your fingerprints because you're crawling around so much. But oh, we had so much fun, and it was just such a privilege to be trained by not just an amazing explorer, but she's just such a great human being, and she is awesome, and yeah, anyone that you know gets an opportunity to listen to her, she's an extremely inspirational person, and totally selfless, you know, like just you know, there's never the big I am, you know, and you start listening to all the stuff that she's done, and she was in a very big
Oh,
world where it was like, and I never ever like to just say male or female, all the rest of it. Like, you know, she's not one of the best female explorers. She's one of the best
yeah.
explorers. Period. Forget about the fact that she's a woman. It makes no it doesn't it makes no difference whatsoever. She's just an incredible explorer, and she's just done so much, man, and advocated for the fresh water drinking supply. And you remember she would have talked about it, like cycling all across the states. Was it
I think
all
so.
across
So I
Canada?
think
Or
it
was
was
it States?
Canada. I think yeah.
Like,
Either way, it was
like,
nuts.
like
She's done crazy
who
stuff.
in their right mind would do that shit? I'll tell you. But no. Anyway, like, so that's a great example
Yeah,
of just
Jill is
great human being.
amazing. I was fortunate to get her as actually she was the second or third one that agreed to be a guest on my show. So I was ecstatic to get her. She's actually the guy I'm going to be doing my side mount training with in May. She taught him how to cave dive. This guy actually has paraplegics that are doing full cave diving. Yeah.
Brilliant, man.
So and so he trained Jill trained him in cave diving, and Jill's coming up here this summer. Actually, she's supposed to be coming up to Tobermory, so I will be side mount certified
Cool.
by then. So hopefully, if our timing works out right, then I'm gonna get a chance to go do a side mount dive with Jill, which I'm thrilled about. Yeah, and
And she's fun. She's fun, man. She's you know what I mean. Like when she came over to New Zealand to do her part of a documentary, and we went diving, and oh my god, it was just so much fun, man. It was awesome.
well,
You know,
it's funny because when we were talking, I said, well, I said, Hubert's teaching me side mount in May. I said, he's got this rule that, you know, for side mount, he didn't want me doing any like pool demos with anybody or anything because he said, I don't want you picking up any bad habits on side mount before I get my hands on you. So I'm like, okay, fine. And I said to Jill, I said, but however, in your case, he gets Trump. I can easily trump him because it's not like he can say I'm picking up bad habits from you, right?
yeah. Where is he going to pick him
So
up from?
yeah. So I'm really excited about the possibility of diving with her as well. She's incredible the amount of stuff that she has done. She has done more insane stuff than I would ever even think of attempting to do.
She's awesome. She's absolutely awesome. Now you should get Becky on the
Becky
podcast,
Kagan.
mate.
Is that it?
She's amazing.
Okay, you know what? Here goes. So I've been chatting with Becky for like months and months and months on and off on Facebook because I always comment on all her photos, especially all her Great Lakes ones. And so she said, okay, yeah. Well, she said, well, contact me in like around December or whatever. I got some time in January. I haven't been able to get a hold of her. So I'm hoping that I can get her on still.
She's fun, mate. She's also a lot of fun.
So yeah, it's been really amazing the amount of people I've gotten to meet doing this, like you and everybody else. I am totally psyched about getting to dive with some of you guys and do some of this incredible stuff. So, and and the whole point of this is to bring awareness to people diving with disabilities and the challenges of it, and that just because you're disabled, you don't have any issues once you're in the water. You're free.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah, man. And like at the end of the day, the cool thing is that you say, well, okay, I'm in a chair, right? Okay, so how are we going to get from here to the boat? Well, okay, you grab that end, and I'll grab this end, and fucking off we go. And so everything is there's only barriers if you make them, and then like to get onto a boat, like you said, it may not be it may not look perfect, but hey, who cares? No one cares. Just jump on, man.
It was so funny when we were in Jamaica when we went to do the first dive on the Sunday, because I know I'm disabled, but and I mean, like I had told you previously, I hide from my disability. I try to cover it up or whatever. And so we go out, we're at Couples, and we go out to the boats, and the boats are all like these small ones you use like at Truk Lagoon and stuff like that. And I go and I grab my gear, go to walk it out, and I fall with it like typical, like 5 feet into the water, right? The dive master guy's like, dude, what are you doing? You don't need to carry that. Entire week, boom. Didn't even have to worry about a single tank after that. He's like, why are you even doing that?
Yeah.
So
exactly, man. And the key now is the fact that I think and to be honest, and to be serious for a second, I think most people just don't know how the hell to act. If you said, hey man, look, I'm gonna need some help. So what you need to do is you need to put your hand under my leg and one behind my back and just lift. And then the guy goes, oh, okay, sweet. And then, so I don't think most people know.
They get intimidated or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I believe that most people, I like to wish and believe in my heart that most people say, hey man, they would help. But I think most people would just go, I've got no idea how to handle this, and not quite sure what the hell to do. So if somebody said, hey man, can you give us a hand? Yeah, sure. And then what do I need to do? Okay, do this. And they goes, okay. Thank you. That's awesome. And then it's like, now you're introduced, you're like lifelong friends, because like now you've like there's all these, life has all got these barriers, don't they? And again, I can't speak because I've not, well, I've probably got a mental disability, but again, I've got no understanding of what it feels like, but at the same time too, the fact that it's like, I don't know, I can never remember the movie where someone was in a chair and I don't know, somebody said, look, hey man, do you want to ask the person what they want for lunch? The guy goes, listen man, I can't walk. I'm not stupid, so that was like, and I think people go, oh, okay, and it's just people just need to learn, and I think the what's really good is that if we're open about it, and then people go, hey man, look, can you give us a hand? And the guy goes, yeah, sure. What do you need? What do you need me to do? And then because most people will sit there and go, well, okay, you've obviously got this covered, and I'm not feeling a little bit uneasy. Like friends of yours will go, okay, ready, 1, 2, 3, throw you over their shoulder like a bag of potatoes, and then throw you in the corner, and but I don't know. I think it's the exciting days, man. It's just like the fact that getting out and doing some shit, is what it's all about. And at the end of the day, you're still doing it,
I
man.
have never in my entire life had such an exciting year packed already, like set up to do stuff than I could ever imagine beyond my wildest dreams. And I mean, I absolutely cannot wait to get certified as an adaptive dive buddy, because that lady in Cozumel, I wouldn't be doing any of this without her and seeing her on that trip.
What's her name? Give her a call out, man.
Her name's Lovey. Actually, I have a guy who's actually down at the resort right now, and he's actually trying to find out, see if he can get any information for it, because nobody seems to know where she went or anything. But it's hopefully I can get a hold of her. I'm actually gonna have a wanted poster.
Oh, mate, that's awesome, because like we're all inspired by people, man, and everyone gets their inspiration differently, and most of the time it's just from acts, small acts that people do, and what that does is it just changes the chemistry of everything, and then suddenly you're going, when I was a kid, when I was doing my when I was learning to dive, and so I went to my instructor. He was a bit of a prick, but I went to my instructor, and sorry, you might have to put an R16 on. So I went to my instructor. I said, look, I want to be a diving instructor. And he goes, do you know how many people tell me that every single week? I was okay, fair enough. What do I need to do in order to show you that I'm serious about it? Because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And as soon as I started diving, I thought, I don't know how, but this is where I want to be, right? And anyway, so I struggled through halfway through my dive master course, all the way from open water up to my dive master course. This guy, but my main inspiration was from a dive master who was working. In fact, he was the first guy that took me in the water, and his name was Lance Jones. Lance, mate, this guy's a legend, ex-stuntman, amazing guy, amazing, and so he took me in the water first, and we had just so much fun. We hit it off together, and so anyway, halfway through my dive master course, my instructor at that time said, "Look, I can't teach you anymore. I just can't. I can't. I've got a kind of a either love me or hate me, type of personality, and he goes, look, I can't teach you anymore." So I'm going, oh, so I went, what am I going to do? And in my mind, I thought, I'm never going to become an instructor because now I can't finish my course. And Lance had just finished his instructor course, in England, when I was living there, and he goes, "Don't worry, mate. Look, I'll finish you off and all the rest of it." And we ended up But he's just such a beautiful man, and so he finished my dive master course, and he gave me all just he was what I needed for the inspiration to move me through and move me forward, and it's just all of his positivity and enjoying the fun aspect of diving and all the rest of it. Have you ever heard of a guy called Steve Bogarts?
I've heard the name.
Do you know Steve? Steve is legendary in the side mount world. Steve is like, and have a little look around about Steve, and Steve was is an amazing guy and all the rest, and Steve was actually another one of Lance's proteges, and he's just gone so far, and it just shows you what positive people do to maneuver and help, because that's the point, is helping in whatever way people to grow, and people who I don't know what the word is. What are they? Subdue, whatever. We all know those type of toxic people, and but it's the people that we want to be around who say, "Hey, man, I'm happy to teach you what I know," but other people go, "I'm not going to teach you what I know because then you'll know more than me." And then we are adversaries now. How does that work? So the point is, like, if you nurture, and then all these people will grow, and that's why all I've done in my life is I've simplified my family, but all I want to do is just do cool shit with cool people. Money will come. Money will come and go. But doing cool stuff with cool people is what it's all about.
I am hoping that through this podcast, I'm going to be able to spend the majority of my time being an adaptive buddy and then going around and doing all this other cool stuff and doing training. That's what I want to do, which I'm absolutely so grateful for all the people from the dive industry who have come on my podcast or who I'm going to be recording. So it's been like, oh my God, I can't believe this. It's my wife every day. She's like, I cannot believe the difference in you, like from a year ago compared to like now, like in every way. It's been absolutely incredible. And I cannot wait to do more, and I cannot wait to inspire people and get other adaptive people in the water and diving. I will never, once I get an adaptive cert, if I'm away on a vacation with my wife or anything, I don't care what I'm doing. If there's somebody there that wants to go in the water for the first time, I will scrap doing whatever dive I have to do to get them in the water, because I will have more of a thrill out of seeing their reaction of going diving, because I know what it's like to be free from your disability and be able to dive like that. So
way to go, man.
That is my whole goal.
But the other thing too, and like that's incredible, man. But the thing is that there will be lots of people listening, hopefully, that will be purely able, but just won't have the confidence to be able to try something new. Just try something new, and then like hopefully then the guys will go, stuff it, I'm going to give it a go, and then so therefore like, no, you've done it, man. Like whether able, disabled, it doesn't matter. It's just creating a sense of just saying, what's the worst thing that can happen? We just give it a go. We go, you know what? That's not my thing. Skydiving without a parachute, landing in a little net, that's not my thing, right? I prefer this. You know what I mean? Or scuba diving. Yeah, that's more my thing. And then give it a go.
And that's what I'm hoping to do, is inspire everybody to start diving. And I mean, the other thing is I've realized how much it's affect my mental stability and stuff since I started diving again, lack of and reduced stress on me. And not only that, I get a lot of relief from pain, which like when I started diving again this year, it was incredible. I noticed during the summer, like I would get 2 or 3 days of pain, a lot less pain just from scuba diving. It's incredible on how that works on the body. And that again is another trigger for your brain, because it's like, hey, I'm not in as much pain, right? And when I'm diving, I'm not in pain at all.
Yeah. Well, my wife would relate to you 100%, mate, because when I go out diving, her pain stops. Her pain completely stops when I'm away. And then she goes, oh, when you're back, it was so good. When are you going again? 2 weeks time. Okay, sweetheart, I can manage 2 weeks. Yeah. I'm trivializing but that's awesome, because it's just, it doesn't matter whether it's physical or mental or emotional. It's pretty cool, eh?
Amazing.
But it comes to the warning sign. So like, and this is the thing, is like, the more you dive, the more you want to dive.
Yep.
The less you dive, the less you want to dive. So again, this whole, we need to be a part of a gang, right? A club, a group of like-minded people who, when we're thinking, oh, well, I don't know, it seems like quite a lot of money to go and all the rest of it. The guy goes, stuff it, it's only money. If I need to do something, I'll just tell my wife to work harder. I'm just like missing the hand. But yeah, man, like it's just being around those like-minded people that keep us motivated and keep us moving and keep us going, and that's, man, you're at the center of that, man.
I'm trying. I mean, I've got, not only that, it's like, it is totally inspirational for me to see these guys who are paraplegics, quadriplegics in the water, because I interviewed Chris Block, who's a quadriplegic with Dive Heart. And I mean, I told him, I said, I gotta give you credit, man, because you got more guts than me. You're completely paralyzed and you're getting in the water. To me, that's inspiring to see somebody like that have that much trust. And not only that, I've seen video of him where he's actually been walking on the bottom. So,
be careful though, because the side mount community will be going, whoa, are you 1 degree off trim? What are you doing? I'm joking.
Yeah, I know.
So the cool thing about these days is, we got technology, we got scooters, we've got all these jetpacks, all the rest of it. Like, man, I tell you what, there's just so much like technology there to help, which is exciting.
I was also very fortunate this year, because I mean, obviously diving's not a cheap sport to get into by any means, as you know. And so I mean, I've been very fortunate that way, and doing this podcast is just incredible. The people I'm getting to meet, like yourself and everybody else coming on, it's like every morning, it's like my wife's like, okay, who'd you get today? And she's like, no way. She's got a friend at work, her shift partner, that she's been going and talking to and stuff like that, because he's been asking about what I've been doing, and she's been telling him how he's been getting. She's like, no, there's no way. And she's like, oh yeah, like, trust me. I've seen the messages, I've seen the interviews. So
Yeah,
Oh, Pete, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast today. I really appreciate it. It has been an absolute pleasure.
pleasure, mate.
And everybody,
I'm not sure we accomplished much, but
no, this has been awesome.
it's just
And I'm going to have all the links down to your stuff down below the video here in the description. So everybody take care. And I look forward to having you again next week and watching. And I'm going to have some more amazing guests coming on. So take care and have a great day.